everyone.
Hi.
So hope you've enjoyed all of our Britannia videos. If you haven't seen them all, go back and check them out.
Playlist in the description.
But what we thought we'd do in this video is just kind of conclude everything.
Yes.
And maybe if there's something that we didn't pick up on at the time and we've since thought about it, we thought we should say this, then we'll add that in there just to help anybody that's thinking of sailing on the Britannia.
Yeah, exactly. You don't get everything the first time.
No.
So that's what this video is. So let's get into it. So we went on the Britannia, it was Easter weekend, so obviously it's a busy time, kids' holidays. The ship was pretty much full. Now I don't know if it was full. I can't imagine every room was full. But the ship does hold like 3,600-ish people.
Yes.
So you could tell it was busy.
We did a 5-night cruise and we went to Rotterdam and Zeebrugge.
We had an overnight in Rotterdam.
We had an overnight in Rotterdam, which was a first for us. So embarking the ship took about an hour and 20 minutes. And we did joke in the embarkation video because there was a lot of complaining as we were waiting to...
Not from us.
Waiting to board the ship. Yeah, no, not from us. We kind of expected it. First time for us sailing in the UK school holidays.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought an hour and 20 minutes were good. Others didn't.
Yeah.
But to be fair, they got there... We did, to be honest. We got there before our boarding time. And it was kind of, if they let us on, they let us on. If they don't, they don't. But there were so many people like... My time's 3 p.m, it was like 12 p.m. And they were saying, and we're not allowed on the ship, we think this is ridiculous. And you can understand why, having now cruised in the holidays when the ship is full, you could understand why they have that procedure in place.
Of course, yeah, because like say, with it just being us two, we can pretty much go when we like. And
we've always managed to get on early, which is a bonus.
Yeah, we've always got on maybe 2 hours before our allocated time. So, first for us, but you live and you learn.
Yeah.
If we go in the kids' holidays again, which I hope we don't, we can just get there maybe half an hour before.
Right, so when you first board the Britannia, you enter the lovely Atrium. I thought it was really, really nice.
Yeah.
Kev piped up and went, "Oh, it's small, isn't it?" But I was expecting that because we've been on bigger ships before.
Yeah.
I thought it was very classy.
Yes,
very
I
posh
like
and modern.
the big chandelier.
Yeah.
Are you calling it a chandelier?
I'd say it was, because it was colour changing as well.
Yes, exactly. So that was a nice feature. It just felt, because I don't think it had the windows all the way around, say like the Iona did through the Atrium.
Yeah, so it felt
It just didn't feel as bright and wide. That was all.
Size doesn't always matter, does it? So you had your typical grand staircase where you had your pictures taken on gala evening. Yep. It had various restaurants, the specialty restaurants were in the Atrium, and then it had shops and things like that.
Yeah, I aren't much for the restaurants in the Atrium areas as much. Just because if you eat late and you try and have a nice meal, then they can be loud if they've got a singer down there or something. That's personal.
If you watched our Glasshouse specialty restaurant, we did that on a day when the ship was docked in Zeebrugge.
Yeah.
So we didn't actually experience the restaurant when there was people on the ship, really. So it was very, very quiet. Because we were filming videos, we didn't get off on that day.
No, because we went there when we went on the Virtuosa in the last lot of cruise videos.
Yeah.
If you're interested.
But like Kev said, if you were eating there in the evening when there was a lot of noise and commotion going on in the Atrium, just bear that in mind, that's all. You might like that, the noise in the background and things like that, which is just something to be aware of.
Yeah, so we found, at first, obviously you do get used to the layout. It was a little bit confusing.
I think like you mean, seeing it was the smallest ship that we've been on so far, it was probably the most confusing to work out the layout. But like you said, you get there eventually.
Yeah.
I do think the lifts were a bit of a pain in some locations because you'd press for a lift and there'd be like 6 of them all around, and if you pressed it and the one on the right came, you could get somebody there wasn't really a queue for the lift.
Not
kind
properly,
of thing.
No. I mean, you know what us Brits are like with queues. We're normally pretty good, but when it came to that lifts, sometimes, and if the lift is full and there's space for 2 of you and you're eyeing everybody up and it's like, well, I was here first, I'm getting in that lift.
But we've just come back off the Discovery Princess, and I didn't know that that Discovery Princess ship is part of the Royal class fleet of ships that were built one belongs to Princess and one belongs to P&O, sorry,
Yes.
which is the Britannia, and the rest belong to the Princess. So the Discovery Princess was a similar layout.
Yes.
But I would say it was worse on there for people pushing in. That on the Britannia, on the whole, people were respectful of, this is a bit strange, but you were here first, go in the lift. But yeah, it was a bit awkward and looking at which one's just dinged, but you get used to it.
And then, because it's the Royal class ship, the only one that P&O have got, I don't know if this was a coincidence or it was done like this, but the Queen christened this ship, and there is a picture of her. Looks like it's signed by her as well.
Yes.
In the atrium on deck 5 near the lifts. So go check that out if you're interested in that. It's just a nice little memorial to it.
We walked past one day and someone had left an empty coffee cup on there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
yeah.
Quickly move that. How disrespectful.
Yeah.
So leading on from somebody leaving a dirty empty cup by the Queen's photo, overall on the ship, it was understaffed, I would say, because the ship was full.
Yeah, maybe that was a bit hard to tell sometimes with it being full. It's hard to tell.
It showed in parts, not only with service, but the cleanliness on board the ship. Now, a lot of the passengers didn't help with that because the kind of places that we were seeing, trays of food and empty cups from the lifts.
I mean, I've never seen so many people eating food outside of the areas. We saw people like eating baps in the lift. There was an apple left on a hand sanitizer, half-eaten apple left on a sanitizer pod.
There was stuff in the corner of the lifts and things like that. So you weren't helping the situation because not only were they already understaffed, you're then just providing so much extra work for them to try and keep on top of when it was just, take your food to the bin and stuff. And I noticed so much around the atrium as well that people had brought food from the outdoor pool and just left it in the atrium. And there was like hot dogs and burgers half eaten, just left everywhere. And it was like, come on, they obviously didn't have the staff to clear it away quick enough, which is a shame.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, you can't moan at the staff for other people's dirtiness, shall we say. Just like say, it's okay if you're eating in the restaurant or the places when you get the food.
Yeah.
But to bring outside food and just leave it everywhere is a bit...
Or
annoying.
You said the half-eaten apple on top of the hand sanitizer thing, and it's just really.
Yeah, you just carry it to the bin. And then the service we found in general was good.
Yes.
Like I say, with the ship being full, the bars were busy.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you'd expect to wait longer. There was one instance where we were in the crow's nest, and it was only about a third full. And the waiter just completely ignored us, so I just had to go up the bar after about 15 minutes.
You can ignore these faces.
Exactly. That was the only one main bit of gripe I had about the service.
In the dining rooms, it was fantastic.
Spot on in the dining room.
They work so hard in the dining rooms
and the
because,
buffet.
like we said, it was busy, and the buffet as well. But again, in the buffet, I did find that sometimes going to find a table, it was always dirty, and there were still plates on there. And if you did kind of see one of the crew members, I'm sorry, sir, I'll come over and clean it for you. But again, they were obviously...
But that leads on to, again, it was the people, because I've never seen so much food on the floor.
Yeah.
In the buffet.
Yeah.
Under the tables. I don't know if it was just because there was more kids
Maybe more children on. Yeah.
And it's obviously hard, they can't just constantly hoover around people.
Yeah.
But once again, that's what I'm saying, that wasn't the staff's fault, that was the guest's fault.
Yeah, I suppose. So the outside of the ship now it doesn't have, I'm not sure what the correct term is it a wraparound promenade, a full promenade? You can't go all the way round anyway on any of the decks outside.
No, it just doesn't really bother us that much.
Some people don't like that.
Yeah.
I'm not particularly bothered. It was
Not
still
really.
a lovely ship out on the outside decks.
Yeah. I mean, you've got the main pool area. There was no screen outside. So, they didn't have movies outside. There is a cinema inside.
There's an indoor one, but no movie under the stars that I know some ships do.
Yeah, there was music as we sailed off, and I believe they had some music playing, throughout the day, just a bit of background music for people while there was sunbathing.
You've got a few hot tubs and things like that scattered about.
Yeah, but then you've got the adults only area, the Serenity.
Yeah, that's really nice at the front of the ship.
Yeah, now it does have a pool and its own bar. It's only a small area, but the one thing I thought it was missing was an adults-only hot tub.
Yeah, that'd have been nice.
Yeah, because, like I say, with it being kids' holidays, they were always full. The kids were in there. If you just want a nice soak You don't want some kids screaming and splashing water all over you. You could have done with one.
And it was always quiet at the front, that bit there. And I'm not sure if everyone's not aware of it or something. Is it a bit of a hidden gem? But definitely make sure you check it out because it is a really, really nice area of the ship.
And then next to the Serenity is the Retreat, which is a paid-for area right at the front of the ship. It's just above the crow's nest at the front.
We've just done it on the Discovery Princess and their retreat, which was a similar layout.
Yes.
So I'd like to... Wish we'd have done it.
Now we've done one.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah, but like I think you go to the spa for that. So if you're interested in that, I'm not sure if they do a half-day package or a full-day package. But yeah, kind of wish we'd done that now. Maybe if we go on again and it's sunnier.
Yes.
Because it was a bit cool. Oh, and then just quickly, by the pool area, the main pool area, there is like a snack bar. It served pizzas. Did not look the nicest. No. I saw a lot of pizza being left around the pool, let's put it that way.
Or in the lifts.
Yes, or in the lifts. But no, it's got a bar there. Did have an ice cream bar, but that wasn't free. You had to pay for that. It was like scoops of ice cream.
Yeah, that was a paid for extra.
Yeah.
But make sure you check out on the Britannia the sunset bar at the aft, the back of the ship. Yeah. I really liked it there. It was in that really nice location on the ship just for like then sunset views, but hence it's called Sunset Bar. But you could sit there any time of the day and it was just, again, quite quiet at the back there.
Yeah, it was.
Right, so I think every cruise line now on various ships have some kind of app or website that is your daily schedule for when you're on board the ship. Now, I think everyone's opinion on this is going to be different because it depends on what other cruise lines you've been with before. I think that's going to influence your opinion on it because we have cruised with MSC and since the Britannia we've cruised with Discovery Princess. Now their apps compared to the P&O's are far superior. We weren't keen on P&O's. It's not great.
Stacey's being very nice there when she says it's not great. It's terrible really because it's just a website you can only use on the ship that basically you can join a virtual queue for some of the restaurants and book your entertainment only in the headliners theatre.
That's all it shows you, whereas the MSC one and the Princess one, it is an hour by hour timings of just everything that's on board the ship that day. We thought MSC's was good, but Discovery, the Princess's app was, we'll get into that in future videos, was absolutely incredible.
Amazing, We don't want to take pictures of this, which some people have told us.
Because we then, say if we take pictures of that in the morning, we then take loads of pictures throughout the day. You've got to go back and zoom in and things. And
like that's your daily schedule for one day. You
can't take pictures of all that.
Like, you shouldn't have to take pictures and zoom in and
not
flick
in 2023.
Through. No.
I think they should always have paper copies of things because, some people just might not like the technology side of things and that is simply fair enough.
Yeah.
I think there should be the option of both, but I think P&O need to put some work into it because other cruise lines, are far superior in that technology side of things. But I think this should always be available as well for people that don't want it or, are not comfortable accessing phones and that and things like that. But they should have the option of both.
Yeah. And then I know this could happen with any app or website, but it did go down on P&O a few times.
Yeah.
There was gala evening when because you couldn't pre-book a table and time like we could on the Iona. We had to join the virtual queue. I think it was at 5:45, 15 minutes before the restaurant opened or something like that. And the gala evening, it went down so nobody could book. I mean, we eat early anyway.
Yes.
So there was plenty of seats, but we did speak to people who were like, I had to wait till, say, 9:30 that night before I could get a table and stuff.
I think that's the annoying thing, like you just said, is any app can go down. That's the thing with technology.
Yeah.
But I think it's a bit more annoying when you'd appreciate that bit more if there was so much more to the app because you'd think, it can go down. But when something's so basic and that still goes down.
The only thing you could really do was check your onboard spends on it.
Yeah, so that was a handy tool
but then
but
that was it.
Other than that,
nothing else.
Take your pictures or carry your Horizon magazine round. Right, so we're going to touch on food briefly because we have done full videos on the main dining room, the buffet, and 2 of the specialty restaurants on the ship. So go and watch them for a more in-depth review.
Yes.
But overall, I'm going to tell you quick, Main dining room was really, really good, particularly at lunchtime.
Yes.
The service was great. Especially the 2 specialty restaurants we did, fantastic.
Could not recommend the specialty restaurants.
Great price as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Great price, great food. Definitely go check them. We did the beach house and the glass house.
Yes.
No problems, no mither at all with either of those.
And thirdly, the buffet pants. Yeah, it was rubbish. But again, that's depending on, I think your view on that is going to be, if you've only ever cruised with P&O, you might think the buffet is fine. But I think everyone's going to be influenced by other ships and things like that, other cruise lines that we've done. It was the poorest buffet we've had on board a ship.
I thought it was very bland. Yeah. Not a great selection.
No.
Stacey was very disappointed with the bread. The bread selection was ridiculously poor.
Terrible. But again, we can agree to disagree. That's our opinion on it. We know from when we did the buffet video that lots of you agreed and some of you went, that looks completely fine to me. All depends on your taste. Yes. I like bread. Somebody might not like bread, so that buffet's fine for them. Yeah. Wasn't for me.
No. So the main dining room, it works on what they call freedom dining.
Which I absolutely love.
Yes, yeah. I prefer this. So
once we've been on the MSC where we got given the same table, the same time and the same restaurant every night, I much prefer this way of things.
I do prefer the freedom dining. So you can either, like we said, if the app is working, you can join the virtual queue and then you'll get a notification when you've got 15 minutes to then get down to the dining room to get your table. Or you can just go down. If they've got a space, they'll seat you. If they haven't, they will give you like one of those buzzers. Like you get in restaurants where you're waiting for your table and then it's like, and you're like, God, and you spill your drink everywhere. Yeah, you'll get one of them. So there is different ways of doing it.
We, like I've said before, we eat early-ish, 6 p.m, 6:30. So we always had no problem in terms of waiting.
No.
Obviously, the later you eat, the more likely you are that you'll have to wait for a table.
Yes.
So the only other option available, but this is only if you book the select fare with P&O at the time of booking your cruise, you can have the option of having what is called club dining.
Yes.
Where that is when you get allocated a restaurant and then you have a sitting of either, I think it's 6:30 or 8:30. So if that's what you prefer, if you want it, maybe you're a solo traveller and you want to eat with the same guests every night.
We did hear off a few people saying like they prefer this because, like I say, they're a solo traveller or a couple and maybe they don't like each other's company and they just want other people to speak to.
Do you know what I think would be really awkward though? That if you did eat and whoever you sat with, you weren't much for.
Yeah.
And I think I read this and I think I was reading this somewhere where somebody said to the waiter, "Can we be moved? Because we don't like them." And they were moved, but then that person saw that they were moved and were like, "Oh, did you not like sitting with us?" I'd be like, there was a draft and it was hurting my neck, or
I didn't like the light on my fork.
It was shining in my eyes. That would have been so awkward.
So opening times now for like the buffet and the main dining room and the specialties, you will get this little piece of paper in your Horizon magazine that tells you all of the times and locations. So just look on there.
Because again, that doesn't tell you on the P&O website app. Why is it actually a website?
Yeah.
It's not an app, is it?
No.
But it's called an app.
Yeah.
Can you keep up?
No.
So the 2 specialty restaurants that we did, the Glass House and the Beach House. The Glass House, you can't pre-book that. You have to join a virtual queue, much like you do for the the main dining rooms.
And I think that was open 11 till 11.
Yeah, that was open all day.
An all-dayer.
But again, like we said before, we ate there when the ship was docked up somewhere, so we joined the virtual queue, but we got straight in there. We didn't have to wait.
But just on that, I think it was Zeebrugge when we were in there, and the doors were still open for people to get on and off.
The gangway.
And it was cold.
Yeah.
That was the one thing we had, that it was freezing cold. There was a right draft.
Oh yeah, I can remember now there was, yeah.
So one thing we will say is, if you know you want to do a specialty restaurant on board, especially during the kids' holidays, book it before or as soon as you get on board.
Which is why we've done them videos to help you in deciding whether you want to eat there before you go on.
The Glass House, you couldn't really book in advance. That was the
couldn't, no.
virtual queue. Or if you're just walking past and there's nobody there, I suppose you could ask them and they'd seat you if they could look on the system, know what they've got coming up. But for ones like the beach house, that booked up. So we booked that in advance.
Well, as soon as we got on the ship.
Yes, it booked, and it booked up like pretty much that day then.
Because you have to log on to the P&O's Wi-Fi before you can book any of these specialty restaurants.
I think you might be able to book 1 or 2 before you get on the ship, but I think it might only be the Epicurean.
Yeah,
there wasn't many, so
it wasn't the
just
beach house because we knew that we couldn't do that. I think it was the Epicurean.
Yes.
For some reason, it was the Epicurean, but not any of the others.
No, so it was strange.
Yeah,
but because you P&O do get your emails like book your restaurants,
and we tried to, didn't we?
Yeah, so just bear that in mind. But the beach house is impossible to find. It's at the back of the buffet. In the day, it's the buffet.
Yes.
And if you go in the buffet at night and you see one side, there's a big white door and it's doored off and you go, what's that? Well, that is the beach house.
In the evening.
In the evening. So yeah, it is a little bit confusing.
Because when we left the cabin to go down for dinner, we were looking in the lifts for the beach house.
Yes.
And we could see Sindhu, Epicurean, we could see all these restaurants. And we were like, where's the beach house?
Yeah.
Because even if you visit the buffet in the day, they remove what was the buffet called?
The Horizon. Yeah, the Horizon sign is up in the day.
Yes, and then they replace it with the beach house one at night. So we did manage to find it, but if you want to know where it is, that's where it is. Because the rest of the specialty restaurants are their own dining restaurants.
It's their own area.
Separate individual area.
Yeah, so it is hard to find. But once you find it, it's amazing. One thing, definitely have the lobster steak.
Oh yeah, that was, really recommend the 2 specialty restaurants that we did. And why we say, depending on whether P&O give you the option to pre-book before we went on, like Kev said, it didn't with the restaurants that we wanted to do, the beach house. No. Do try and book them as soon as you board the ship, because we have had someone comment to us and say, you were so lucky you got to go to the beach house, because we tried to book it 3 days in and we couldn't get on. I mean, we went in the Easter holidays. If you know you're going at Christmas or, in the Easter holidays or 6 weeks holidays, then maybe you are better off doing it as soon as you get on board. You might drop on if you go out of busy times, out of season, and you might be able to book it while on board the ship. But just to be sure, and then you're not disappointed if you then can't get to eat in one of the restaurants.
Right, so the cabin now. So we paid for a obstructed view balcony. And then maybe a few days before, we got an email saying we'd been upgraded to a standard balcony.
Yeah. So
we paid £698 for the 5 days for the obstructed balcony.
For both of us.
And then we got upgraded. The cabin itself, pretty standard, it was nice enough.
It was a very bright cabin.
Yeah, it was. The wardrobe was a big open wardrobe, which was nice because you got more space. I thought the shower was pretty big.
Yeah, it was a nice cabin. It was. We never saw the cabin attendant through the 5 days.
We saw him the first day when he knocked on, and he was like, "Hi, I'm your cabin steward," and that was it. Never saw him again.
Just let us know, and then we never saw him again.
Good job, we didn't need anything.
And a bit of a bugbear for me. The cabin wasn't hoovered in the 5 days that we were in there. Nope. Now, I molt. My hair molts like a German Shepherd. Do they molt?
Like a big hairy dog.
A big hairy dog, yeah. So it is a bit of a bugbear to me because I hate hairs and stuff on the floor, and when you're walking around and you're getting in bed. That's only because I hoover so much at home, don't I? I love hoovering. So, it could have done with being hoovered. Yeah, and then there's glitter on the floor from your dresses on gala evening and things.
Yeah, and then the other bugbear was, before we got on it, the cruise had just done the transatlantic from the Caribbean. Now, I understand, sea days.
Picks up salt. Of course.
It's going to be a bit salty. But it wasn't, the balconies weren't cleaned for what? Was it 3 days? 4 days?
Yeah.
Into a 5-day cruise. So, I know we weren't anyway, but you couldn't have really used it. It was very salty.
It was very, very
over salty, yeah. So, all the chairs, the table, everything you touched.
I leant on the rail didn't I, one day, and it was like all dirt was on me top there. And I sat on it as well. My jeans were filthy afterwards. So it was dirty. And like you say, if you've paid for that balcony and that had been nicer weather, you've paid for something you can't really use.
You shouldn't have cleaned it yourself.
No, get the wet wipes out. And other than that, we did notice, I will say that bedding needed to be binned after, I was going to say after we'd used it. We hadn't caused it, but after that needed to be binned, that bedding. It was stained from either, I know it had been cleaned, it wasn't dirty, I know it had been washed, but it was stained from makeup or fake tan or something like that. There was something brown, there was a brown stain on it.
Yeah.
It was all bobbly and ripped in places and stuff, and it was just, we never noticed when we first did the cabin tour, we were in there, but obviously when you've slept in a few nights, it'd just be a bit rough on you because it was all bobbly and ripped and stuff.
That was the only thing.
Overall, for the 5 nights, not too bad. No. If you were maybe on it 2 weeks, you'd have asked them for a newer duvet.
Yeah.
a newer cover, and a hoover. Right, so the entertainment and bar areas on board the P&O Britannia, I thought the bars were really, really nice. The bars and lounges. I loved them. I loved the Crystal Room. That was fancy. Brody's British Pub. That was really, really nice, apart from the pool table cues needed tips on.
Well, there was no chalk, but it didn't need chalk because there was no tips. And then the balls, so it was a standard British pool table with the red and yellow balls, but there was a blue 8-ball table, 8-ball pool ball on there as well. That was a bit confusing.
They need to invest in new pool equipment.
Somebody needs to go down Sports Direct next time they're in Southampton and just get some new cues.
You've got the Live Lounge. That's another really, really nice bar. Alex James from Blur was doing a talk while we were on there. There was a magician on for the kids in the daytime. So I think our favourite location on board the Britannia was the Crow's Nest.
Yes.
Absolutely loved it in there. Just really, really, day or night, just love sitting in there.
We love these front-facing bars where you just got an amazing view and you can sit there if it's a nice sunset and just sit there with a nice little drink and just chill out and watch the world go by. They're our favourites, the front-facing bars.
Absolutely loved it. And just off the Crow's Nest, you wouldn't know it was there because there's no sign.
Oh yeah.
There is a really, really nice library in there as well. Loads of selection of books. A lovely seating area in front of a window.
Two court windows.
A bit of quiet time.
With big comfy chairs. Yeah, that was nice.
It's a beautiful library.
Yeah. It does have a casino. It's not the biggest. It's got, your standard table games and a few of the big multi-line confusing screen games.
It is also, all other ships that we've been on, the casinos have always been smoking allowed in there, but it isn't on the Britannia, which you're not going to like that if you're a smoker, but as a non-smoker, we did like that. Yeah.
Not that we were in there all the time gambling, but when you're walking through, we've been next to Brody's as well.
Yes.
You're not sitting in there and smelling somebody smoking down there.
There is smoking areas on board the ship, so don't worry if you are a smoker.
And then the other one is the Limelight Club. This is a paid-for kind of dinner show. We did show this, we didn't do this, we showed it in the tour video, and we joked because there's a few big pillows in there, isn't there? And if you get unlucky enough to sit near one of those pillows, you won't see the stage.
No.
So somebody has since mentioned it's a first come, first serve for the tables. So go in there in the day, find the table you want, get in the queue early, and then sprint to that table.
Yeah, I want that one over there. A good idea actually, because it's open in the day so you can have a walk in there. So the main theatre is your headliner theatre. There was 2 shows on every evening. I think it was like 7:30, 9:30, something like that. But check your Horizon magazine. And you had to pre-book this on your P&O app website. Now it does say that you have to pre-book it on the last evening on board the ship. It came up as full, so we couldn't book to go and watch it, but when we did arrive to the theatre, he went, it's fine, there's some seats at the back.
He did have his little tablet, didn't he, and he could probably see that not everybody had checked it.
Yeah, because I suppose some people book and then they're late eating, so they don't turn up for it. So ideally you do need to pre-book it, but you might drop on and get lucky.
We did have to sit right at the back. There was like a couple of bars with high stools. So if that's no good for you.
No.
If you got a bad back and you're like, I can't sit on that.
Pre-book it where you can.
Then inside the theatre, it was nice enough. I felt there was plenty of room in the seats. They weren't too cramped. You could take a drink in. Now, there's no point getting too in-depth on the entertainment because one night there was the P&O Horizon show.
Which is their P&O's entertainment team.
Yeah, we didn't watch that.
It was I think that was on when we went on the Ione or something similar, and it's just not our kind of thing at all.
And then the other entertainment the other night was from outside artists that just maybe have been on Britain's Got Talent or something like that, or from opera shows. And like I say, that will change every single cruise. So
I mean, it was okay. The 5 nights that we were on, it's hard to review it because it wasn't our kind of music. So you could go on a different week, and we could have liked something that was on. But for us personally, we didn't rate it. But that's just us and our taste of music. You could go on and if you like Cher, you'd have loved it.
Yeah.
Right. So overall, we had a really, really good time on the Britannia. Yeah. Like Kev said before, we paid £698 for the both of us for 5 nights with a standard balcony. So, you know, what is there to moan about, really? I've seen, looking at future cruise lines and going on different ships, because we do want to try as many different ones as we can. Yeah. I have seen some great deals for the Britannia ship. So, you know, I'd say give it a try. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's, overall, we had a great time.
Yeah. But like I say, if you're interested, there's loads of videos. There'll be a playlist in the description. Go and watch them, because we put so much work into these videos to show you guys all
we're
this
only on
shit.
5 nights and we're like film.
I think we did maybe 10, 12 videos in the 5 nights. So really in that video. So if you've got any questions and stuff, go back and watch them and leave them on them videos, and we might be able to help you. But coming out after this one will be our Alaska cruise series. So if you're interested in that, make sure you subscribe, because they will be coming out a few days after this one.
And like we've mentioned throughout the video, that was with trying princess cruises for the first time. Yes. So if you're looking at, because I know there's a few princess ships going from Southampton as well, if you're interested in that. So definitely check that out.
Yes, but like I said, hit that subscribe button. Leave us comments on your thoughts about Britannia, or any questions you've got about Britannia as well. We'll try and help you out. We always try to help everybody with the questions.
Yes. Leave
us a like while you're at it, because you might as well. But as always, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time.
From Alaska. Bye.